So what we're going to talk about tonight is no more Strikeforce. Now, I think I could see this coming. I don't know if anybody else could. Strikeforce is no more. So what does this mean for the women? Well, it's not very good news, is it? And what's going to happen to all those women? I mean, Strikeforce had a lot of divisions, women divisions. I know there's a few more other organizations that have women divisions, but none of them were as big as Strikeforce. Now Strikeforce is gone, what are they going to do? Well, they could try the UFC, but wait a minute. UFC only has really one fighter in it, that's Rousey, isn't it? Of course, they signed Kamooch to Kamouch. No, it's Kamooch. That's it. I think that's the way you pronounce her name. To fight her. But is she really in a division? I mean, you can't call two fighters a division. That would be like calling baseball, you know, having the Yankees and the Red Sox as your only two teams, you know. I mean, that's ridiculous. And why? And you have to look at why hasn't more women been signed. You know, when I first heard about this, I thought for sure, well, you know, they're going to pick up a lot of fighters from the Strikeforce. But they didn't, did they? But then what does that really say about women fighting then? What does it say? It's just not enough talent in it. If there would be talent in it, well, they would have scooped all those fighters up and had just moved that division over. And they didn't do that. Again, why? And if you were to look at some of those fights, I mean, they're just terrible. Just terrible fighting. What you would see in a street fight. Except for Rousey, because she knows judo. And that's the only thing that saves her, actually, from her fights looking like a street fight, because she does at least keep it judo. But the other fighters, I don't know. You know. I mean, if they were any good, don't you think the UFC would have had divisions by now? I mean, Santos got stripped of her title over a year ago. And, you know, Strikeforce never even bothered even having a match to fill the vacancy. I think that kind of gave you a clue of what was coming, didn't it? Well, yeah, the UFC, I don't think, plans on having women divisions. I really don't. They're going to pick fights where they think the women, maybe the two best women at the time, and have them fight. Which means it's not going to happen that often. Especially if Rousey loses. Then what? Then what's going to happen? I mean, she can keep on fighting, but that mystique of her being, you know, undefeated champion will be gone. Won't it? And people like that. They like undefeated champions. Once she loses, the whole mystique will be gone. Then what's going to happen? And I think this is why they're not having a division. Because they know all those other women in it isn't going to draw anything. And it's not drawing now, if you look at it. I mean, ratings are down. And they're going to keep going down. I think the MMA has reached its peak. They already reached that peak of popularity. As this is leveling off now. And the women, you know, the only thing that's keeping it together now, I think most people would agree, is Rousey. Once she loses, or if she retires, if she loses, like Frono did, that's really it for MMA. WMMA, I should say. Nobody else can carry it like she can. Even Tate, when she was a champion, she wasn't anywhere near as popular. She might be a little bit now because of the fight, but Rousey is the only one keeping it together. I think Diane White realizes this too. That's why he didn't make the women's division or sign any other women. He's going to have a one-off fights, mostly with Ronda Rousey in them. And that's, you know, how can you have a sport like that? How can you have women fighting if there's no divisions and you have just one fighter you can rely on? One fighter you think is going to draw millions of people? I mean, it's a joke, and you can see what the UFC is doing with Rousey. They're using her. They're using her popularity right now, and that's to make money. Well, their business, of course, they want to make money. I can understand that. That part I can understand, the money part. But this is why they don't have women's divisions. They're just cashing in right now on her popularity. Smart move, actually. How long is it going to continue? I guess as long as she keeps winning. Yeah, I'm going to make another video about the fight itself later. Maybe later this week. My predictions of it. And I haven't been wrong yet about a fight. So feel free to leave a comment.